Welcome back to our discussion of JavaScript. Today we'll discuss JavaScript functions. So I have the page on the left and the HTML JavaScript on the right. I don't have anything really in the HTML other than the normal boilerplate. In the scripts I have some things, so let's take a look at our script file. So I begin the file with use strict, which we should all do now. So that was introduced in 2009, and it has stricter requirements on the JavaScript syntax, so it should always be at the top of modern JavaScript. At the top of the file is the place where it belongs, no place else, and only comments can go ahead of it. Otherwise, they'll be ignored. So let's get down to the functions. So function declarations require four things: the function keyword, function name, the parameter list between parentheses, and a method body. So here's an example of it: the function keyword, the name of the function, the parameter list, in this case empty, and then the method body, in this case bringing up an alert that says hello everyone. So right beneath show message I have another function called show message, this one with two parameters. Again, the parameter types aren't there because JavaScript doesn't require them. The types of the parameters, and therefore, are determined at runtime. At some point this could be an integer, at some point they could be passed a string. So as a JavaScript function designer, you've got to be aware of that. You don't really know the data types of your parameters. You can assume them, but you don't know them. The other thing is that this looks like overloading, but JavaScript doesn't have overloading. It's simply the last one wins. So from now on, show message, the second one, will be the one that JavaScript will believe in. So now, the next thing the JavaScript interprets is an actual call of a function, and it looks like this: the name of the function and its parameter list. Notice that we're mixing in calls with function declarations. So I have a couple of calls here, and then I go back to declaring functions. You can do that in JavaScript. The functions aren't actually invoked. That is, you won't see this alert hello everyone until the function is actually called. So this function, since it's been replaced by the function that's defined on line 23, will never show up. So you won't see an alert that says hello everyone, because no one can call that method. The code will call the last one defined, and that will be this one here. It's not good practice to sprinkle function declarations in with actual calls because it makes the code hard to read, but the JavaScript interpreter itself doesn't object to it. It's tuned to do what's right in front of it and to the best of its ability, and it does it. So a function declaration, it accepts it. Actual code that's being called right now, it accepts that as well, as long as it understands the syntax. So I'm going to reload the page so we can see this method in action. I have some others that are defined below, but we're just going to concentrate on that show message. So there, hello and hello, and now it's a result of this call right here. And the next call, show message, doesn't provide those parameters. And what do we see here? Undefined, undefined. So remember what the undefined is. It's both a type and a value that an undefined JavaScript data item can have. So that holds true with parameter types that aren't actually passed here. So 0 parameters passed, both parameters are undefined. So in JavaScript, the call on line 28 is a valid call to this function, but so is the line on 34. There's no syntax errors here. It's perfectly happy to call this show message with from and text undefined. There's a couple of different ways that a JavaScript function designer can deal with this, and one is to provide a default value for a parameter right on the right where the parameters are defined. So in this case, text has a default parameter, from doesn't, but text has a default parameter, no text provided, a string. So it'll be from and then no text provided if text is not provided. So this is show message 2, so it's not replacing the original show message. It's a brand new function. Then I have show message 3 as well, and we also have from and text here. This is another way to do a default parameter. So detect inside the body of the code. If text, this is strict equality. Remember that the strict equality requires both the data type and the data value to be the same. In this case, undefined is the data type, and undefined is also the value. So if it's strict equality undefined, then it replaces it with the string value. A text would be nice. and then it will use that. So this is the alternate way of providing a default setting for a parameter, which might be missing at any time in JavaScript. Here's the first one I showed, and here's the second method of defining a default parameter setting. Now I'm going to open this script up in the debugger, and we can look at this some from the debugger. So sources here, and then here I'm on page. Remember last time we looked at snippets. Actually go to the page here and look at scripts, and this is echoing what we have, how we've defined it here. Scripts.js is inside this folder here, so I traverse to it and I open it here, and then I can set a function breakpoint. Actually, I'll set it on the actual call here by clicking on line 28, and then hit reload, and then pause in the debugger. This breakpoint is being hit. Trace into, and you can see what's going to cause the alert to pop up. We see the parameter and we see hello there. I'll run it one time, and we see that pop up. Then step over and be back down to here, undefined, as we discussed, and then show message 2. I'll trace into that, and we'll have the text as being no text provided because we didn't provide that in the parameter. Snow and no text provided. And then show message 3 with Bob, the alternate way of defining a default setting for a parameter. Right here, undefined, now it's string, and then, okay. So we're going to trace through this a little bit further. And I think I'm back to the actual calling context. So let's take a look at what else happens in this function. I have a function here called anyType with a request parameter. So request parameter is strictly equal to integer or string or double. It will return different data types, and this is to illustrate a function can return any type of data. Here an integer, here a string, here a double. Of course, in JavaScript, both this and this are considered to be numbers.